Hello, hello, beautiful souls and friends around the world. I hope you're doing as well as possible in this quite intense changes and times on this planet. And today I wanted to come on and a little bit give encouragement and empowerment regarding the shadow times we're in now. And for those who doesn't know what this is, it's basically we are all in energetic field, in the collective field, where we are purging lots and lots and lots of information, not only again as things and people and situations and programs, but basically these are information, energetic informations, which are just not serving us anymore for the further path we are all together on now. And of course, I will say now towards a much more brighter future and a golden era which we are all together embarking on, or even started already to embark on. And this shadow time now, it will basically bring up a lot of feelings, a lot of memories, a lot of wounds, situations which you will feel that it is kind of past repeating itself. Maybe even the same people from the past who caused this kind of situations, who of course then left, or which left then traces on your soul, on your heart, maybe mind, and maybe even body. And that's why I kind of felt really inspired to come on and just offer a little bit guidance around that, because again, it's not easy when you suddenly look into the eye of a shadow, and the shadow again can be your fear, can be maybe even someone in a role of a narcissistic with narcissistic tendency. And maybe you are on that other side, this empath. And now what basically to do? This narcissist on the other side, or having those frequencies, is actually at the same time, it is a shadow, but at the same time it's even helping you to see where you are as the empath now in this situation, over giving your own self. Where are you more trusting in a way what this massive shadow in front of you is representing, and instead of basically stepping into your own self-empowerment. So this shadow aspect of this narcissist standing in front of you is helping you to transmute it. And instead of taking on guilt, taking on responsibilities, even the accountability for the action, maybe this person, maybe this situation, again, I'm speaking here energetically, doesn't need to be one narcissist in your life. It can be the whole situation, it can be your environment, it can be how you're living, maybe your job, etc. And that's the point now. We are all together now, facing and seeing those shadow aspects to equally transmute, equally grow out from this belief system that there is a certain narcissist, a certain suppressor in my life, or a terrible situation in my life, because all of that is now in front of our eyes, into our face, appearing, that we can now work where it's triggering us still within us. So even if you feel, oh my God, I can't get out of this situation, I feel stuck, I feel even, again, like being manipulated, or maybe some of you might even feel, okay, are these some weird forces upon me, etc. But all of these beautiful souls in the shadow time is really helping us to see to what is the shadow attached within my own core woundings. So this means if the shadow wouldn't be from the outside oppressing and even suppressing my own powers, my own being, then I wouldn't even feel where I still maybe react and feel then guilty that I did something wrong, that I can't do my job well, or I am not a good child or a good co-worker or a good partner, or whatever it is, beautiful souls. These shadows are not now just here to make this time of the year terrible and heavy and really that we can't even breathe anymore, but they are coming up now again for two reasons, not only to be then transmuted, but also to unhook yourself from why the shadow at all exists on that other side of you in the outer. So this means it is connected, it's a tandem together with my own being. So if I don't feel anymore obligated that it's always my fault, it's always me who needs to be this scapegoat or whatever I will say now in this example, then of course if I'm not doing that anymore and I can really release that and take on only what is my responsibility in the situation, then the shadow will basically start to lessen and lessen till it's completely fade out of your frequency field, as it has no more role to play there. And as it has no more role to play there, it won't even appear anymore on your pathway as the reality, because again, everything is frequency. So this means, again, whatever we are now in the shadow time as a collective experiencing is firstly to identify before you already run away or be scared again or having sleepless nights, to firstly identify what is on the other side of the shadow. So if this shadow is now a narcissist which is constantly manipulating you, emotional, mental, spiritual, in your job, in your life, in your environment, then what is on the other side of this kind of oppressor? It is then, okay, I myself gave away somewhere my own power, that I started to believe that because I am now the other side, means I'm the empath, that I have to be really kind and loving, and probably I just need to help even if I see that this is a shadow on the other side. So this means then again that we have to recognize, why do we have this other oppression on the other side? And it can be, again, it can be a fear that it's just not giving you the opportunity that you start to walk your path because you're fearing you won't make it or you're not good enough. So the shadow here would be then, okay, something or someone told me once upon a time or showed me or taught me that I can't do it. And I started to believe it. And when I start to believe it, I, in a tandem as a couple, right? Because it's shadow and the light walking together here. So as a tandem, I created then that I had to bring in shadow aspects in the outer who would then constantly represent and tell me as people, as situations, as circumstances, you're not good enough, you can't make it. You're not good enough, you can't make it. So you see, we are feeding and keeping those shadows alive till they will remind us to the core point that this is not true, that this is an illusion. Yes? And this is now also something what I want to add to this shadow work now altogether, is that many who are not really taking this accountability for their own shadows, for example, they just do what they want. They maybe are still in a more not so conscious state, right? So we are not judging anyone, but just to say they can't get out because they are not even seeing their programming. So that those will now, because it's going to become more and more intense with the light on this planet, in this consciousness field, they will not be able to kind of take on their shadow. So their own shadow will become bigger and bigger. But because they can't take the accountability for it, it will start to project out. So probably those in the nearest circle of them, they will of course in a way feel that projection, but to take on the projection, again, why would you do that? Because probably you have another wound. So projection onto you can only happen if you still have a kind of wound programming around the other side from that what being projected onto you. Again, I think it's a best example when I speak here about empath and about the suppressor, about the oppressor, about the narcissist, yes? And again, we are not like truly blaming them, but the role of them is to project as long as possible onto us till we're gonna realize, oh my God, I really took on here stuff which was never mine just because I thought I need to be a good person and just swallow all down and sort everything out. And well, it is my friend. Oh well, it is my partner. Oh well, it is my boss. So, and that's the point, that we all have here a perfection actually running, where we can really all together help ourselves. They're all together helping the collective field by taking your part in this consciousness clearing, which is happening now, in the shadow clearing. The moment when you realize what and why is this shadow in your life, then you're gonna recognize where is your part of the responsibility to clear what needs to be cleared. Again, I'm just repeating myself, but it's so important, this message right now. The shadow will exist as long as you need to recognize where on the other side you took something on which actually started to overshadow your truth, right? So this means taking on maybe things these people couldn't solve, and suddenly you started to become responsible for their own actions which they couldn't solve, but because you are a very loving empath, you thought you're helping, but at some point you've been caught into this trap, because helping someone who doesn't want to take on their own shadows means that then you took on, in a way, this shadow, this heaviness, and suddenly you're in this position where even you thought you're helping, but now you can't get out anymore. So you see, it's a really tricky situation with this projection, because even if you see it's a projection, it's then on you to recognize that you don't need to take on the projection, because you will not help this person in any way, and then even you can't help yourself then too, because you're both then overloaded with that. So I really hope this makes sense. But again, this shadow time will now bring a lot of projection out from people who just couldn't and don't want to make the work, the inner work, and to bring more consciousness in, because bringing more consciousness in means you're enlightening those shadows, and everything what was before distorted as a shadow can still be transmuted into new potential, into wisdom, into experience which we had on this journey. So I hope I'm really explaining myself here in a most simple way. But again, being in a field where is this just I'm projecting to you, I'm projecting to you, means there is just work to be done, but the work isn't the fault of a person or the fault of you, but there is just distorted information which is ready to be cleared out, transmuted, and like that we can really then move on in our life. Because otherwise, even if you get rid of a heavy job, even if you get rid of a really not loving relationship, a partner, even if you get rid of a circumstance or even a living situation, till you don't clear the information why you are experiencing it like that, this kind of partner, this kind of job, this kind of situation, it will repeat itself with different players, means with different people, situations arriving again and again, because it's about clearing information which are in our field. And that's why I said, when you're gonna meet shadow aspects, means people, situation, places which seems heavy, terrible, manipulative, etc., fearful, and so on, look what is on the other side from this fear, manipulation. So in that case, again, narcissist, empath. So the other side, the empath, has to learn that it's not helping if you're just loving and overgiving without having any kind of boundaries, because then of course you will endless give, endless be in the situation, and endless be a victim, saying that you have a narcissist around you and it's just terrible, and you can blame then this narcissist, and the narcissist can blame then you, that you can never do something because you're just some weak person, etc. So you see, it's an endless loop, right? And that's why, again, beautiful friends, it is all about take on your responsibility without then needing to take on the responsibility to clear shadows from this other person. Not at all. You don't need to do that. You just take on what this person, why is this person around you? It is showing something where you have to work within yourself. The rest you don't take on from the circumstances, from this person, from the job, from all what is happening. You just take out the nugget, the golden nugget which was brought to you from source, that you are in the situation to learn about yourself, and about them it will basically be their work. And if they never want to change, it's also not your job to do, not you to be blamed. Even they might lovingly put this onto you as a projection, that it's your fault. For example, if something didn't work out, it's your fault, and so on, because maybe in this situation you are more the wise one, the soft one, the loving one. And that's why they can, in a way, take then this onto you. Yes, because there is, let's say, in their eyes, the weak spot of yours. But again, back to you, shadow work will help you, will help all of us to make space from this distortion, and then we don't need to bring anymore the same situation, same people in, because once it's learned, once it's understood, then it's brought into awareness, and then we don't need to repeat the past anymore, right? So again, in this retrograde phase now, which I'm bringing in now as from the planetary energetics, means lots will maybe arrive which feel same, people maybe the same returning, etc. But all really just to wrap it up. And come on guys, we are almost at the end of 2024. It's time to really take our own reins, our own lead into our hands, and really allow this wise heart to guide you, to guide us through the next phase of this beautiful life still ahead. We are not here in 2024 to be neither victims, to be neither in lack, to be neither in poverty, to be neither. All this is frequency information which we all can transmute the moment you recognize it. Okay, that's just a program, imprint, memory, past idea, whatever, and get it out of your systems. There are many ways. I will let you find your way, and I hope all of this really inspired you, motivated you, and even reminded you that you're so much more than just this kind of roles, suffering through life maybe right now, but that you can really see you are a creator, and with the frequency you can create something new and different. So sending all my love, and just heads up through this shadow period, because it's more than a glorious time to finally get rid of distorted information, which is not our nature. It's not our divinity within us. We are not distorted. So anything what is in us through all what we experienced here, get it out and just align back into a much more beautiful mindset. So all of the lower thoughts and depressions, and I'm being alone, and I'm being lost, and I'm being, get all out of your system. Purify, and really embrace those shadows by bringing in your light. That's how you're transmuting shadows, bringing in consciousness and higher understanding. Okay, much love from my heart to yours, and really heads up, it's not that bad as it seems. Okay, bye for now.